Ben. Let me fix YouTube. Bonarici subscribed with Prime. Thanks, Bonarici. This is the first time ever in my streaming career that I have three separate drinks: sparkling water, chocolate protein shake, and black coffee. I might refill my coffee with more coffee upstairs when this stream is over, or I might not. We'll find out. That's one of the exciting things about this stream. You never know what's going to happen. Is it caffeinated? It better be. Somebody on Discord, on the channel where you put videos and stuff, showed videos or pictures of me from 10 years ago in St. Louis and said, Ben, stop drinking the sugary drinks. I've never drank sugary drinks. So I don't know what I was drinking. It was probably water. Well, I'm trying not to go to sleep during the stream, so that's why I'm having coffee. Oh yeah, I'm tip top, as far as I know. I had my lowest weight in years this morning, so that was good. Oh, I know what I didn't do. I didn't do something important. I didn't update the titles. That was dumb. Sorry. Ugh. But I'm typoing. Okay, fixed. Well, that was dumb. The books are still there. You just can't see them. Open your eyes. The books are on the floor over there. 200 bits. I can't see your name. No friction. It's always no friction when I can't see your name. Hi, Ben. I have been banned on Twitch chat by accident. I am a sub. No, I banned you because you said you were 1806 and made me play this guy. That wasn't an accident at all. That was brought on by you. If I knew how to unban somebody, I'd consider it. Is there anybody here who's a moderator? It was an accident on purpose. Anyway, you're banned, your children and your children's children. Are there any moderators who could unban them? I sure hope not. I could unban you, but I'd have to know how to do it. Let's see. Is it this? I know how to do it? Hi, that's what you think. Okay, I did it. Bonarici, you're banned for trying to unban somebody. All right, but you're still banned. Just not in the literal sense. Not in any sense that matters. Grandmaster Gus. I'm jealous of the way you haphazardly spell things. There's only 4 mistakes in that sentence. I'm jealous. Look, you don't have to come here and give me your life story. I don't care what your bullet rating is. Also, you're banned. I have 9 games. So people seem to be confused about something, and by people, I mean Sit Bear. Although, I think this guy too. When I don't stream, you don't just pretend I streamed and give yourself another game. So, for example, if you submitted a game last week, then that's the game we'll look at. But you don't get to submit a game last week and say, this is for last week, and here's one for this week, which Sit Bear always does. But I didn't stream last week, so there is no last week. So the first game submitted by everyone who submitted 2 games, we're going to look at your first game. We're not going to, like, have a week off and then take all the games from last week and put them on this week. Ridiculous. Also, anybody who submitted a game last week means they don't watch the stream very often, because on every stream, I tell you I'm not streaming on the weekend, I'm going to Charlotte. I said it on like 5 consecutive streams. So everybody who submitted 2 games is banned, which unfortunately includes Grandmaster Gus because he submitted a game last week, obviously not knowing I'd be in Charlotte. Sit Bear will double submit even if nothing is untoward. He just likes to submit 2 games. If something is untoward, then he really submits 2 games. If he has any excuse at all, he's like, oh my God, here's 2 games. Anyway, whether you submitted a game or not, I'm never looking at your games. Rawr. Ben, I am 1673 Blitz. Let's play a match. Am I getting trolled? Today is Sub Sunday. I analyze games submitted previously on Discord by subs. There are 9 games to analyze today, a perfect amount. In between analyzing the games, I'll be banning everybody. So I have a lot to do today. We had terrible weather today, lost power, and I wasn't sure I would be able to stream tonight. We had thunderstorms and tornado watches, and the dogs were barking constantly because whenever thunder happens, they don't like that. So if the storm comes back, it was only raining a little when I came down, then the stream might just end, but I doubt it. So we should be okay. I have to unban people so that I have the power to ban them again. Yeah, you have to, it's touch and go. It's like a Diddy party. It's touch and go. I'm your favorite lecturer of all time. You need to get out more. Okay, it's 8 o'clock. So we should be on Chess TV momentarily. Then we can start doing viewer game analysis. Well, the numbers haven't gone up yet. Okay, here they go. They go up slowly. Finally. Okay, let's see what the person wrote for the first game. In this high quality game, parenthetical, one of my best, I sacrifice a piece in the opening and my formidable opponent collapses under the pressure of my resulting initiative. Now, strewn throughout the game by chess.com are a series of question marks, double question marks, for about a third of the moves. So guessing he blundered a piece and won the game, and he's kidding. Although with you guys, I don't know. Sometimes you guys are like, this is a great game, and like every move gets a question mark. Not by me, although by me, but by the engine. Can I send game here? It's too late to send a game. You can send a game next week. Also, you can't send a game there. Also, you can't send a game because you're not a sub. So there's a lot of reasons why you can't send a game. For information on how to send a game, type !analysis on Twitch. It'll give you the play-by-play of how you submit a game. Games have to be submitted by 7 p.m. the day of the stream. However, several people will chat, hey, can I submit a game during the stream? And they're not subs, and they're not on Discord, and their game's terrible, and the answer is no. And also, you're not allowed to watch my stream. As punishment, you have to watch Gotham Chess's stream, and that's the bad news. The worst news is, all Gotham Chess is going to talk about is Hans Niemann. I'm currently streaming. Hello? Uh-huh. I'm streaming right now. When you get home, can you feed the dogs? Yeah, that's okay. They didn't complain. I've given them treats all day. They didn't ask to eat, so I just figure I'll let you get home. Okay. Bye. My wife called me just now, as you probably figured out, and the first 10 seconds of the conversation was her talking to somebody else. So the truth hurts. Okay, so I'm white, or I'm not white. The guy who submitted the game is white, and he's 2056, and his opponent is 2103, and this is a 10-minute game played 2 months ago on chess.com. I actually didn't pick up until I finished my Gotham Chess joke. Oh, I don't have the sound on. Now, if I remember correctly, and I don't, I think I had black against this guy in this opening yesterday. But I didn't play d4, I played knight f6. Although it could have been a different guy, but I thought it was the same guy. How do you get to 2,000 elo? In my instance, you would lose 700 rating points. Then you would get to 2,000 elo. In your instance, you would gain 700 elo points. Good question. Okay, so black played d4, which is legal. This position, black made a move which ends with him losing a pawn. Black should play knight f6, according to the engine. Played d3, and now after knight f4, he's going to lose his pawn. And if he plays c4, which is explosive to defend his pawn, then queen a4 check not only wins the c pawn, eventually And by eventually, I mean next move, it'll win the D pawn. So according to the engine, black is already losing. But he lasted longer than I thought. He wasn't losing till move 5, and he's 2100. That's pretty good. That's not bad. I would expect somebody 2100, which is, like beginner strength, to be losing on move 2 or 3. It's trying to learn. I could have used you 10 minutes ago trying to learn. I needed somebody unbanned, and I had to figure out how to do it. Oh, that was the worst day of my life. That was the worst minute of everything. Ben, how you become GM? Man, everything that you chat is crazy. No more chatting for the great. Take some time off. Grandmaster Gus was here and he didn't even unban the guy. Grandmaster Gus was told when he became a mod never to unban anybody. Okay, black played knight f6. Okay, so white's a pawn ahead. But even the most dim-witted individual with an advanced degree in hyperbolic topology could tell you black is threatening e5, attacking the knight, and the knight is defending the bishop. So the bishop should move. The best square is c2, because that leaves the pawn on e4 defended. So after bishop c2, white is a healthy pawn ahead. Instead he castled. Gives a double question mark. I wouldn't give a double question mark. Okay, now black should play bishop d6 instead of e5. And engine says black is slightly better. But black played e5, which is fine, especially for a 10-minute game. White found the only move, knight d5. The engine says, after bishop c2, giving a piece away, and then black takes the piece, and then white plays d4, that white's only down 0.5. Okay, that's time to buy a new engine. A lot of questions in the chat. If bishop d6, I can play e5. E5 is a reasonable move, although you might lose your pawn to knight d7 or knight g4. So bishop c2 is the best because the bishop's under attack and you don't want it to be under attack. Okay, so white played knight d5, which is forced. White is still better. Here, white should play queen e2 and then try to play bishop e4, as in my round 1 game from the Charlotte Spring Open last weekend. Played 8 days ago, where I also played bishop e4. Or maybe I didn't. Yeah, I did. Okay, white played bishop e2, too passive. Now black is better. e4, too aggressive. No, that's okay. So I assume when white said he sacrificed a piece, he meant that he hung his knight. That's pretty strange for 2000. Now I'm starting to think these are Lee chess ratings. I lost weight, but I know where it is. This morning, I weighed the least I've weighed in several years. I weighed 236. Usually, I'm in the 250s or low 260s. 236 is better. The only question is, will I ever get sub 200? Then I won't be as big as I used to be, so that'll confuse the audience. So, based on what the guy wrote, if he wasn't kidding, then he sacrificed his knight. I don't understand how after e4 you miss pawn takes knight. So, I don't know what's worse, if white blundered this or white thought it was a good sacrifice. I'm not sure which makes white a worse player. That's a good one. Can't you do both? I guess you could. Anyway, so now black's winning because black's a piece ahead. Queen d7 question mark. Queen d7 seems okay. Bishop f4 question mark. The engine wants to play rook e1 check, but don't see a big difference. So, if two grandmasters were playing, white would resign, but since two beginners are playing, white wins easily. Remember, if you're under 2200, you're a beginner. If you're 2200, you're an advanced beginner. That's pretty good. So I have a funny story about how people under 2200 are beginners. When I was good friends with Anand, now we're like acquaintances, but when we were good friends, he told me he got Michigan Chess Magazine, and you guys don't know this, Bonarici knows it, but 30, 40, 50 years ago, FIDE ratings didn't go below 2200. You didn't have a FIDE rating unless you were 2200. And so Anand was confused about these games that were published in the Michigan Chess Magazine, because Anand has relatives in Michigan. Somehow he got the magazine, because the players were rated 1200, 1400. All their moves were blunders. And he was like, what is this? What does 1200 mean? What is the meaning of this rating? The only thing he knew was 2200 plus. I have a game in Michigan chess. What? Okay, so back to the game. Queen c2, giving white tremendous compensation for a piece. I mean, white has nothing for a piece, so I guess he was kidding. Would Anand get into Harvard? Yes. In this position, black could play bishop takes h2 check, but since black is only 2100, I think the idea of a battery is too advanced. So he accidentally made another battery. Hard to understand. Bishop g6 is a good move because it gives the bishop away. You know, this shtick that I have, that people under 2200 are beginners, this game is making me look 100% serious. Like, white plays d3, giving his knight away on f3. Black plays bishop g6, giving his bishop away on g6. What does the world come to? This is a 10-minute game. It's a 10-minute game. I said that when the game started and several times since. Right, and not only that, of all the millions of chess games that have ever been played, possibly billions, this was the game that was submitted, where both sides just hang pieces. Anyway, both players are banned. Although I don't know who black is. You know what's funny about life? One day, you beat Anand in 6 moves. And 35 years later, 8-year-olds beat you. God damn. I'm actually referring to somebody. Yeah, if you don't know, go to the internets and type in Zapata Anand. And you'll see a 6-move game where Zapata won in 1988. In Beale, I believe, in July. Now Zapata's a 65-year-old grandmaster and loses to small children. It's Yabba Dabba Doo 2. Oh, I'm sorry, Yabba Dabba Doo. I have another question for Yabba Dabba Doo. This position's from earlier in the game. This is the same game. You just weren't here. And here, white played d3. I leave it up to the reader to decide which move is worse. Okay, queen takes g6. White was on the ball. Black was probably pretty disgusted with what just happened. c4 is explosive, giving another pawn away. There's no way that this happened. This has to be a made-up game. I'm getting trolled. Now, the engine was giving moves that were bad double question marks, but there's so many of them, it just said, okay, 1 question mark, because double question mark, that it doesn't even matter anymore. And this is why I quit giving chess lessons. Do you still live in Michigan? When's the last time I lived in Michigan? Let me think about that. The last time I lived in Michigan was 2008. Since 2008, I've lived in St. Louis and suburban Atlanta. So it's only been 17 years since I lived in Michigan. Janur Chess is rating with a party of 30. Sorry for mispronouncing your name, but I got the chess part right. Can one of my wonderful mods give him a shout out? Queen e4 was the best move, enticing black to play knight g6. Yeah, her, that's what I said. It just sounded like him. I hope you had a good stream and lots of fun things happened. Man, if I played your buddy in Ann Arbor, Michigan, it was 30 years ago. God damn. Okay. I guess we're only going to get to one game today. Queen takes g6. Now, it would have been funnier if white didn't see queen takes g6. That would have added to the humor of the stream. Why did black resign? It was white's turn to blunder a piece. Now, I'm fairly certain that the guy who submitted the game and said he sacked a piece and so forth, that was all jokes. That was his sense of humor. We already made the lead chess joke about a minute before you showed up, Yabba. Sit Bear is banned for showing up late. I was explaining to people, Sit Bear, way before you showed up, that when I don't stream, you don't submit a game from last week and this week and say, here's for the week you missed. I didn't stream last week. I was in Charlotte. So I'm not looking at 2 games because you missed a week. Anyway, nice try. Also, from the 25th to the 27th of April, which is this month, in slightly less than 3 weeks, I'll be in Charlotte again playing in the Alto tournament. And the day before the Alto tournament, although I guess it's the same day because Friday there's a round, I'll be teaching at a camp in Charlotte at the Charlotte Chess Center. Is Karen aware of Charlotte? You mean the woman or the city? She's aware of the city. She's probably aware of the book Charlotte's Web. I mentioned this on the stream about 2 months ago, so that means you all forgot and weren't here. But Chessable is coming to chess.com. So at some point in the next 3 months, it could be this month, but it's happening in the next 3 months, you'll be able to buy Chessable courses on chess.com and look at them on chess.com and use all the chess.com tools. It's the same as if you buy them on Chessable. Also, if you're a Diamond member, you save 20 or 25% or something. I don't know. Something. This will all be in a big announcement soon. But I'm spilling the beans. And all the courses that you bought on Chessable up until now, you can look at on chess.com. If you buy a course on chess.com, you can also look at it on Chessable if you want. So you never have to leave chess.com when this happens. You can be on chess.com 24 hours a day playing blitz chess, playing in my tournaments, and doing Chessable work. The only Chessable courses worth buying that I know of are mine. I have about 8 courses now because they keep translating my courses into German. And there should be one more, so I have 9 courses. I have like 5 courses that I made, and then like 3 of them are in German now. If you type !Chessable, you can get a link to my Chessable courses in English and German. That's not even updated what Nightbot says. I have a course since then. Sicilian Surprise is my latest course. Then they've had a couple of German courses. Okay, that's all we have time for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. The 8 games we didn't look at, we'll look at next time. What's that? There's an hour and a half left in the stream? Oh, all right, never mind. The German courses, the written part is in German, and the video, if you buy the video, is just me in English. So it's only the written part that's in German. It's Gus. Go, Gus. A great tournament for me, albeit it was only the under 1800 section. This was my round 2 game where I sacrificed a pawn for a winning attack. And under his opponent's name, Gus put opponent number 2. This was the New York State Championship 3 years ago, played 2 days before my birthday. White is 1756, black is 1326. These are US chess ratings. It's a slow tournament, I assume, but it doesn't say the time control. But we'll assume it's a slow tournament. It's hop on the bus, Gus, not get on the bus. If someone takes my GOAT status in chess, then I will be there to root them on. Thanks, fish head soup. I hope it's vegan. Now, in the song 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover, which is being quoted now on in the chat on Twitch, he names about 6 ways. And then he names them again. It should be 50 ways. There's about 6. There might not even be 6. I'm being generous. Yeah, I have water. Here's my water. I had my protein drink. Oh, there's some left. I hope C.L. Smith typoed the last word, although I do like it. If he didn't, I don't know that word. I assume it's dirty, but C.L. Smith said it, so. That's right. And as C.L. Smith has pointed out in a roundabout way, the song isn't ironic. Everything she says in the song is not ironic. It seems that irony has a different definition in Canada. In the South Park movie, when they're burning Canadian stuff, one of the things they burn is an Alanis Morissette album. What's the title of the album? in the South Park movie. That's a bit that I liked a lot. Come on, remember the South Park movie? No, Jagged Little Pill is the actual name of an album. The name of the album is Naked and Crying. That's a good name for an album. So SNL has just given up making jokes about Trump. They just read the news now of what Trump does, and that's the joke. They don't have to make it funny. They just say what's actually happening. The only thing I watch on SNL is the news with Colin Jost and Michael Che. And Michael Che's not that funny, but Colin Jost is. Michael Che's good when he's making fun of Colin Jost. That's about it. Yeah, my friend Wes called me and said the market's going to do even worse tomorrow. One of the best news skits from over 40 years ago was they had John Belushi do commentary on St. Patrick's Day. And Jane Curtin's like, and now, to comment on St. Patrick's Day, which is upcoming, John Belushi. And John Belushi went insane. And he was insane for like 3 minutes. And then he spun off the set. It was sort of weird. But that was great, his complaining. The luck of the Irish, the bad luck of the Irish. I had a friend. Now you owe your retirement money? Grandmaster Gus gifted a sub. Our first gifted sub of the stream. Thank you. Yay, Grandmaster Gus gave his 200 gifted sub. That's right, bear arms. Who could misinterpret that? Grandmaster Gus saves the day. Hey, you rated us earlier. We're doing good. Lauren Bober last week confused Oliver Stone with Roger Stone. And then when they said, I think you're confusing them, she said, oh, I'm sorry. I never thought anybody would confuse the two of them, but it made a little sense. Yeah, I've never seen White Lotus, but my friend Wes, who I mentioned earlier in this stream about a minute ago, he was telling me the season finale is starting tonight and it's a great show and so forth. Everybody is banned. That's my kind of moderator. Okay, let's look at Gus's game against opponent number 2. Gus is white, and it's a slow game, and his opponent's 13-26. Hey, this is how I play. This would be like if I played Gus. I play Rook C8 here, but the engine says G6 or knight takes knight is better. So I guess I'll play those moves from now on. So far, both sides are playing fine. What's wrong with you guys? Yeah, the engine wants to play knight g4 because in any Sicilian, you always want to play knight g4 if you can. And you can, so the engine plays knight g4. Hey, that's what your opponent played. Well, you give up your dark squared bishop. So far, your opponent's outplaying you. Very suspicious. Yeah, the engine says bishop f6. Yeah, now it says the game's about equal. It liked black a lot after bishop f6. Oh, I just ate. Oh, I'm out of coffee and I'm out of the protein drink. All I have is this water. Frankly, e5 is terrible. Yeah, don't play e5 in the Sicilian unless you're over 2200. Then still don't do it. Okay, so Gus correctly played knight d5, sacrificing his c-pawn, and his opponent took on c2, which gives White a winning attack by always playing f6. So black was better, and then black said, excuse me, I'm 1300, and played bishop g5 dubious, e5 question mark, rook takes c2 double question mark. Now the engine says black can resign. Man, the truth hurts. To tell you how bad black's position is, the engine says bishop takes f6 is the best move, just giving a piece away. For information on giving pieces away, see the first game. Bishop h6 is not even the second best move. I mean, obviously nobody would play bishop takes f6 unless the guy played it. H6 is the second best move. He played bishop h6. Knight e3 is fine, but better is knight e7 check, fg7 check, knight f5, which is +5. This is also good, plus 4.37. If I was playing in a tournament, I would play knight e3 because that attacks the rook, and knight f5 is coming. So I like knight e3. Knight g4 was the best move. King h8 doesn't make any sense because after you take this, you're threatening mate. Thanks to Matthew Williamson for donating $10 to the Perfectly Cromulent Fund. Yay! So black should play bishop g5, which is also losing. But this is more losing. I hope you played knight takes f7 check, because that's a really cool move to play in a tournament. Yay, you played it. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I never get to play moves like that. And white is slightly better. Black was doing fine that game until he wasn't. I haven't seen a position this overwhelming since 3 months ago when C.L. Smith beat everybody in Charlotte. Charlotte's having a norm tournament in about 10 days. They have norm tournaments like 4 times a year, and they have several running concurrently. To be fair, how is anyone supposed to know that Donald Trump would govern like a mentally ill sociopath? I assume you're kidding. That's the way he governs. You know, a lot of people that don't like Trump's policies are blaming Democrats for not like standing up to the Republicans. I don't blame the Democrats. I blame the people who voted for Trump. Trump is Trump. I can't blame Trump for being Trump. He's Trump. What do you want him to do? Not be Trump? Like, he's a maniac. So when Trump acts like a maniac, I'm not mad at Trump. That's who Trump is. So, but my anger is just for the voters. They said, let's vote for Trump. That's a good idea. And they did it twice. God damn. I mean, Trump's the president because people voted for him. I mean, how stupid. God damn. I mean, Trump is going to destroy the world's economy. When Trump was elected the first time, I thought, like most presidents, he couldn't do much damage because you have handlers and helpers and other people to tell you not to do stuff. But he doesn't listen to those people. So he just does what he wants. It doesn't matter if it's crazy or if nobody agrees with him, he does it anyway. Typically, the president has advisors and would say something like, that's insane, so don't do that. And then the president would be like, all right. But here, it doesn't matter what the advisors say, and he only hires yes men, so they're telling him he's doing a great job. Anyway, I'm voting for AOC because her name is AOC. That seems like a good reason to vote for somebody. Also, AOC has the advantage of not being 80. Yeah, AOC rhymes with yeah, you know me. Yeah, that's good. I'm not going to vote for her if her name's on the ballot. It has to say AOC. I don't want to see anybody's name. Like, I won't vote for Trump, but I'll vote for J.D. Vance because I don't know what J.D. Vance's name is. I don't. I know it's J.D. Vance. I don't know what the J or the D stands for. And I don't want to know. Yeah, Booker not going to the bathroom for 25 hours. God damn. Yeah, next election, I mean, AOC's not going to run for president because, they won't let her. But AOC versus J.D. Vance. I don't want to see any names on the ballot. Just AOC and J.D. Vance. I'll accept Vance. Have you considered running for local office? I have not. That would be a terrible idea. I'll do a 25-hour stream where I don't go to the bathroom. Hard to understand. Okay, other than trying to learn, who I know knows. So don't answer trying to learn. This is too easy for you. What do me and Cory Booker have in common? A red shirt might be the best answer I've seen. Under 2,800, yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm older than Cory Booker. I don't think was born in 69. I think he was born later. But you could be right. I don't know. Actually, nobody got the right answer. Is he still dating Rosario Dawson or did they break up? You both think Chuck Schumer should step down? Well, I think that, but yeah. The question is, what do me and Cory Booker have in common? Booker was born in 69 like me. I didn't know that. Well, we have two things in common then. Anyway, the correct answer is we're both vegan. Yeah, Petrosian's 11 got it. Yeah, Cory Booker's vegan. Neither of you think Gotham will become GM. All right, we have three things in common. Man, Cory Booker looks good for 55. Looks like he's in good shape. Talks for 25 hours straight without going to the bathroom. God damn. Okay, next game. Okay, the next game is 73 moves. So we're going to gloss over most of it. 15-10 played online. I jumped on an early blunder by Black, but I still feel like I had to work for the win. White is rated 916 and Black is rated 1498. That's right, C.L. Smith. So again, the time control's 15-10. Players are not very high rated, but White won in a big upset. 580 points. God damn. What's my favorite food? It's a tie for first between Thai food, that's why it's a tie, and Indian food. I also like other foods. Anything vegan I like. It's very hard to give me vegan food and I'll tell you I don't like it. The exception is Marmite. Marmite is vegan, but nobody knows what it is. So. Yeah, dal makhani is good as long as there's no butter. Did we have Nepalese? Yeah, it was Nepalese Indian restaurant. Sushi's okay. How did you lose weight? Eat less? It's a big secret. Okay, so White said he did good, beat a higher rated player. D5 doesn't have the best reputation. I mean, I would expect Bishop D6 from somebody rated like 2100, not 1400. Definitely sushi to borscht. Vegan sushi is pretty good. Italian food's good. Nobody laughed at my joke that I would expect only a 2100 to play Bishop D6. Were you guys not here earlier? For more information on my veganism, type !vegan. Top 5 rated cuisines? I can't talk anymore. I'm 55. Should be able to talk for 25 hours. Indian and Thai are tied for first. Then probably Middle Eastern is third. Then it's hard to get Italian vegan food because usually they put cream or milk or butter in all the pastas. But if I can get vegan pasta and the like, and vegan bread, also is unclear. Then probably Italian and Mexican are tied for third. Thanks for gifting a sub. You're the best. Yeah, this is the game. See, when White said he did good out of the opening, he wasn't kidding. He said he had trouble converting. Let's see if there's any mistakes. So far, no mistakes. Okay, White's made no mistakes. Pretty good for 900. White's just a piece up. Nothing's happening. D4 is a weird move, but the engine says it's fine. It's a weird move, though, because it's giving a pawn away. But still the same evaluation. Wait, knight f5 is not a good move. Makes things easy for White. I mean, I wouldn't play king d1 here. It wouldn't be my first choice. But, all right. That doesn't matter. King d1 wouldn't have been my first choice either. Okay, so in this position, Black wants to play h4 and so forth. So if White puts the bishop on this diagonal, it's plus 10. And White's been plus 3.5 or better the whole game since he took the piece on d5. Bishop h6 is a blunder, and now White's not winning anymore. So that was White's only mistake of the game, but the game is nowhere near over. The game goes on a long time. After h4, the engine says it's a draw. So in this position, White just has to stop h4. Then White's winning. King e4 loses. H3 draws. Yeah, now White's winning. Yeah, now the pawn's not dangerous. Okay, bishop d6 throws away the win. What Black wants to do this, but then White can play bishop e5 check and take. So White needs to hurry over here. Bishop e5 check also wins, but king e2 is the easiest win. Then White just wins easily. The engine's like announcing mate. Now it's a draw. Wow. This is awesome. This is a position I would give to Magnus Carlsen if I was working with him and tell him Black to play and draw. And I don't know if he would solve it. I'll get to you guys because you guys are here and Magnus has me blocked on every social media app, in the world. Black to play and draw. Okay, I understand why the move draws and other moves lose, but I had to follow the engine analysis. Yeah, if I gave this to Magnus as a puzzle, he would solve it. If he was playing in a slow tournament, I don't know if he would draw. I think he would. I don't think I would. We don't have a lot of answers in the chat. I thought there'd be like 20 answers. There's like 4 people who answered. You don't know? Correct. King C3. Whose turn is it? What? Okay, the correct answer, which was given by a couple people, is King C1. And the main line is King E2, A2, King F3, King D2, King G3, King E2. Then if you take the pawn, I take the F pawn. If you play F4, I play King E3. Then if you take the pawn, I queen and take your F pawn. So I have to get my king next to the pawn, like Bonarici said, but King B3 doesn't do it. You have to go this way. You can't go this way. That's too slow. So King C1 is the only drawing move. And Magnus would find it in a slow game. In a blitz game, I wouldn't be so sure. Anyway, he played King B1, which just loses, because now white just goes and takes this pawn, which is what he did. Yeah, okay, and then white, wrapped it up. Yep, King G2, good. It says King E8, then the game ends. So I don't know if black resigned or he didn't put the end of the game. That was very instructive. So white won a piece in the opening because black hung a piece. And then white played perfect until he let black play H4 drawing. Then black needed to play H3 the next move to draw, but he didn't do it. Then white was winning, and then white messed up the win, and then black's never going to find the draw. Players aren't grandmasters. Anyway, very instructive game. Black resigned. Can somebody type exclam stats so I can cry? I've been trying to get to 500 subs for 2 weeks. We always have like 470, 480. We're always 22 subs away. It's always 478. I'm serious. It's always 22 subs away. Anyway, if somebody can give 22 subs, I would appreciate it. My favorite poker player, other than Karen, also drinks Saratoga water, and he's actually from the area. He lives near where they make it. He's also a sub to the stream. Who can name this poker player? He's a sub to the stream. He drinks Saratoga, and he's my favorite poker player. Sean Deeb. Manny Ramirez is a close second. Ben Johnson makes about 5% of his income from poker. So he's not, he used to make all of his income from poker. But he's not world class like Sean Deeb. Me and Gus Hansen are like that, son. Gus Hansen's also very good at backgammon. He's not a bad chess player. Also a good tennis player. Yeah, Gus Hansen's just good at everything. Cory Booker's good at speaking for 25 hours without going to the bathroom. Okay, next game. No, it's Sit Bear. No, anything but that. Okay, I'm skipping the next game because the guy already submitted. He submitted 2 weeks in a row. Okay, Sit Bear says repost from last week. I was 4 out of 4 after employing my patented sit and wait for my opponent to blunder strategy. Strangely, though, my opponent didn't blunder, so we drew. Okay, so it's 40 moves in 80 minutes, then sudden death 30 with a 30-second delay. Sit Bear's black, and his opponent's rated 1430. Sit Bear 1629. This was played in July of last year. Morphy wouldn't need to have resources as Fischer. He'd just be a super GM anyway. Morphy's the greatest player that ever lived. Anybody who says otherwise is banned. Bobby Fischer said that Paul Morphy was the most accurate player who ever lived. And he said this in the 60s. He said if Morphy came today and played, he'd beat everybody. God damn. Steinitz said Morphy no good? That doesn't sound like something Steinitz would say. Okay, Sit Bear's black. He claims his opponent didn't blunder, although I see question marks this game. So the game ended pretty early. Nobody's blundered yet. In this position, grandmasters play queen e2 check and try to get an advantage in the endgame. White's a tiny bit better. Nakamura has employed that technique, and Levon Aronian, and so forth. Mainly and so forth. Castles doesn't give any advantage. Yeah, if black wants to mix it up and not have a boring position, black should play c5 and knight c6. That makes the game more interesting. Possibly get an isolated pawn position. This is too boring to win. The engine just says everything's equal every move. It says every move is equal. C5 question mark. That's the only move of the game I like. So C5 is a mistake in this particular position because white has the tactical shot knight G4, which Sit Bear pointed out. And then if knight takes knight, the rook on e8 is insufficiently defended. Otherwise, white's going to play knight takes knight, and black's pawn structure is ruined. Ruined. So after knight g4, white is positionally winning. So black should have seen that and not played c5. However, white did not see knight g4, so everything worked out fine. Yeah, now black is fine. Yeah, I mean, if black wants to win, he shouldn't play rook e8 and trade rooks. If black wants to win, he should play c4, b5, a5, b4, and keep pieces on the board. Yeah, b6 is no way to try to win. It's too boring. Again, c4, b5, a5, b4. Ugh. Playing queen e7 trying to win. Ugh. You're playing somebody lower rated than you, and every move you trade everything. You got to keep pieces on the board if you want your opponent to blunder them, and they will blunder them. Your opponent's 1400. There's a lot of pieces on the board. He's going to make some mistakes. If you trade all the pieces, he doesn't have any mistakes to make. And the game was agreed drawn. Now, if I'm rated 1600 and my opponent's rated 1400, I'm not taking a draw here with either side. I'm playing for a win with either color. Chess Sharks is banned. Yeah, stop typing in all caps or you're all banned. That was a very instructive game. Black didn't do enough to try to win. Black traded too much and had to draw a lower rated player. No trading. Also, no all caps or you're all banned. Also, we need 22 subs to get to 500. So if somebody could donate 20 subs or so, or even 15, I can make up the slack. I just want to have 500 subs, so I have something good to tell Karen. Not our usual 478. I'll wait. Let's see what people are saying on YouTube. We have 79 viewers. Jennifer Shahadi is one of my favorite poker players and chess players. Me and Jennifer are like that, son. You've heard of Phil Hellmuth and Gus Hansen, but you haven't heard of Phil Ivey? God damn. Ant-Man Rising gave a lot of subs. 10 subs. Thanks, Ant-Man Rising. We've never had so many subs, except 5 years ago when we had 3,000. Oh, snap. Can you believe this channel used to have 3,000 subs? Those were the good old days when people stayed home all the time. Not sure why. Yeah, the day that I played the team match against Takaru's team, we got like 500 subs that day. Thanks, Ant-Man Rising. You're the best. Previously, Grandmaster Gus was the best today, but he's been outshined by Ant-Man Rising. Although he did win a nice game and played knight takes f7 check. Total Monkey Speed gifted a sub. Good, good. Okay, let's go to the next game. Hype Train incoming. Standard average gave 123 bits to start the Hype Train. We should be on level 4 because somebody gave 10 subs. Maybe it's level 3. Well, we'll find out. Level 4. Yeah. It's Bonarici versus NN. Although, in this game, Bonarici was the NN. This game was played before anyone was born. Despite nobody being born, we still played chess. I was around 1200 at the time. I was sure I could become world champion if I grinded and maybe memorized some openings. That's what you call the foolishness of youth. This is in the Michigan Collegiate Championship in 1978. Bonarici's white, NN is black. How can you play against me? Subscribe to this stream and come back Saturday. And in the end, Bonarici did become the world champion. The most famous world champion of them all, Bonarici. Okay, we're only 11 or 12 subs away from 500. And we're streaming for 40 more minutes. We can do it. We have the technology. Where's all my rich subscribers? Where's all the people with too much money? What's that? They all lost it because of Trump's tariffs? Oh. Look, you can put your money in the stock market and lose it for nothing, or you can donate subs. Then you'll get something out of it. I told Karen all of your highs moves. That sentence was very strange. Okay, let's see how Bonarici played in 1978. Probably about the same as now. C3, now I'm PO'd. Pretty good. No mistakes. Ooh, rook e1. Ooh. Yeah, if you're going to take the pawn, then play b4. I mean, especially if you're 1200. If I was 1200, I'm playing b4 all day. God damn. I'm playing it now, too, but b4 saves your pawn. It's Plectramura answering the call for subs, trying to put us on level 5. Need a lot of help to get to level 5. We're only at 5%. What's worse, when the hype train's at 5% or when your phone's at 5%? Oh yeah, there's a joint press conference tomorrow with Trump and Musk, and they're going to announce new tariffs on Mars. A true story. You can't make that up. So if Mars wants any goods from the U.S., it's going to cost them. It's funny when your jokes come true. Mars attacks. That's what we need is more penguin tariffs. I agree. Those penguins have been getting away with it for a long time. No, we died at level 4. Okay, so rook e1, not too good. Bishop e3 is okay. Queen d2 is not great. Queen b3 is better, but that's okay. Knight a3 is okay. Queen c2 is okay. Yeah, for 1200, you're playing really well. Yeah, knight d6 was bad. Now you're better. Yeah, you want to save your bishop and have the 2 bishops. So move your bishop somewhere. And he should take your bishop. MROZSS subscribed. Thank you. F4. God damn. Hope you're better at chess now. Ugh. Still, for 1200, you're playing fine. Ooh, that move hangs everything. Yeah, after queen d3, knight takes b2, wins all your pieces. You needed to play queen c1, then you're just clearly worse. Which isn't bad. Yeah, queen d3, hanging knight takes b2. You probably wouldn't do that today. Man, the truth hurts. Man, you're down a lot of material. I guess you resigned here? Good choice. Somebody give mild influenza a sub. Do as I say. We're only 10 subs away from 500. Hi, Ben. The lesson I want to share is don't try too hard for a win in a drawn position. Don't give up in a losing position. Okay, white is 1968. Black is 1917. Chess.com. 10-minute game. And our hero Magic Chess is white. Okay, so far perfect. Nobody's ever played better. The engine doesn't like bishop c4. I think usually play knight f3 and bishop e2. Bishop c4 looks okay. These moves are all good. 10-minute game after all. That move's okay. I like the engine move, queen c5. That's a funny move. I probably wouldn't think of that. Knight takes d4 is also an engine move. Yeah, it actually wants you to play... Oh, he wants you to play e5. Yeah, that's the best move. Now, bishop d5 is the best move. Yeah, bishop d5. Then it says it's equal. Now, black's a pawn up, but black has some pawn structure issues. But black's a pawn up, so. That move just hangs a pawn. Black should play rook a7. That's the best move. Or rook b8. That's the second best move. This move just loses a pawn. because the queen's defending the c-pawn and the bishop. All right, so now it's just a draw. Nobody could ever win. I don't understand why black gave up his e-pawn. I have no idea why. It's still a draw, it says. It's still equal. The engine doesn't like queen f2. But it says it's equal still. Yeah, black has obvious compensation. a5 is a tactical mistake because now black can take on g2 and black doesn't have any problems. That's what he did. You can't take with the rook because your rook's hanging in the corner. So you have to take with the queen. And this is a drawn ending. Probably nobody's better. Just going to end in a perpetual. Although it didn't end in a perpetual. So. Yeah, the engine likes black. Engine still likes black. Okay, and that move loses a rook. Now queen e1 check is winning. Rook takes a6 is the losing move. Yeah, and g5 just leads to a draw. Yeah, after queen check, if king d3, queen check, and if king d4, queen d2 check, then when the king moves, queen check wins the rook. So queen e1 check is winning one of the rooks. After g5, it's a draw again. And rook c4 just hangs the e-pawn. So now black's winning. And it hangs the a-pawn. God damn. Yeah, rook c4 is a really poor move. Probably in time trouble. You know, black just wins out of hand. Except for one thing. Okay, so before we go any further, both players are over 1900, and white won this game. That's why you should never resign. We're going to find out how white won. I don't know. I thought that was funny to point out here. Black is still winning, but it's closer now. Now, for those of you who think rook f5 check and rook h6 is mate, rook f5 check is illegal. So he didn't do that. Now the engine announces mate. It says black plays queen e5 check and takes the rook. It's hard to imagine black losing that position with white having only a king left. Yeah, and so in this position, this looks like mate, but it's illegal. So white played king e2, threatening mate. And now black can play queen check and take the rook and win. But black played h2, and white checkmated black. Black resigned, but after here, this is mate. And that is how I met your mother. A perfect game, correct. Okay, everybody's favorite, Jim Wright. And he donates a lot to the stream. Hi, Ben. One from the archives. Played in November of 1993, before you were born. And if my records are correct, the 40th tournament game I ever played. Last round win against a much higher rated opponent, which is always nice. As always, I appreciate your analysis. Thank you. Our hero is rated 1142, and his opponent that he vanquished, and quickly, is 1635. Time controls 45 moves in 2 hours, then 25 moves in an hour. This was played in Quebec. Before you were born. Don't forget to donate 10 subs so we have 500. It's a French defense by transposition. Bishop takes f6 and e5 is the old way to play. That's how they played in the 1800s. But nowadays, people play e5. Yeah, the engine likes black here. 2 bishops. c5, knight c6 is coming. Yeah, b6 isn't very good. Ooh, g6. Ooh. When black plays b6 in the French, that's because black wants to trade white squared bishops with the move bishop a6. Black could also play c5 or f5. g6. Ooh, that's ugly. Put it in h. Yeah, now white's much better. Yeah, white has like a free... It's ooh, h6. Ooh. Moving too many pawns in front of his king. The engine wants to play knight g5 here. God damn. I definitely wouldn't play that, but that's the engine move. Yeah, king h7 is no good. Should play c5. The engine actually wanted white to play knight g6 on the previous move when the black rook wasn't on g8. But it still says that white's better here. And that's a blunder that loses. Now queen takes e6 wins and rook f3 wins. Yeah, now black's crushed. Black can't defend his king's side. Queen f7 check is coming. Taking on g6. Black's pieces over here aren't defending. Man, the truth hurts. What a crush. The engine announces mate and says the best move for black is queen f8 because that's mate in 15. Rook g6 is mate in 7. And if black plays rook g7, we sack our rook and then play rook h3 mate. Probably both players saw that. So black played king h8. Man, now the truth hurts. Boy, it's hard to believe black was the higher rated player. Jim, you played a lot better than 1142 in that game. That's right, Plek Chimura. Everything you said was correct. The good old Petrosian, my favorite grandmaster. Black resigned. Yeah, Black's queen side didn't get too well developed. Yeah, if Jim is here, that was a great game. If you're not here, it was still a great game. I know you're watching later if you're not here. Chess in my veins, play better. If you want your rating to go up, then play in the US. Because CFC 1600 is like 1800 USCF. So then play in the US and you'll have a higher rating. Oh, snap. Yay, it's Jim Can Chess. Can somebody do exclam stats so I can see how close we are? $491. Okay, I'll give 5 subs because I want to get, you know. Yay, thanks it's Ben and Karen for gifting 5 subs. I want to get to 500 this stream. Yeah, it's only Twitch subs and they have to submit them hours before the stream. So forth. It's Mountain Dude. Of all the games I've played, this was certainly one of them. I'm proud how I kept it together in an even game. I even ended with 2 minutes over my opponents. Okay, and our hero's Black. Night Kicks gave 5 subs, getting us to 500 subs. You give 5 subs. You give 5 subs. You give 5 subs. Okay, now we need 99 subs to get to 600. Who's going to do it? Now Night Kicks is the best. 11 gifted subs this week. And I'm tied for 3rd. This was a 10-minute game. White's rated 980, Black's rated 1017. Hit me. What's funny is, of the 99 subs, they're all bitches. Except for the ones that are hoes. But most of them are bitches. This is a very kid-friendly stream. I had to deny that one, but it was close. Jim Can Chess gifted a sub. Go, Jim Can Chess. Okay, let's look at the game. So far, perfect. Ooh, knight g5 is not a good move. Yeah, when your opponent can castle, you don't want to play knight g5. That's a duffer's move. And somehow it's still equal. Good game so far. Don't understand rook b8, but okay. Yeah, probably black should keep his bishop. Bishop a7. Still equal. Okay, now I understand rook b8. Didn't understand it before. But yeah, rook b5 is reasonable. Yeah, the d pawn's hanging. If white had captured it last move, black could at least take on c2. Now white just takes on d6 and is pawn up. Yeah, so good for white so far. Now there's another pawn we can capture. So good for white. White's 2 pawns up. Now white's attacking the queen. White's 3 pawns up. Ooh, that's a good move. Queen e6. So the engine says e5 is the best move, and rook a1 is the second best move. Yeah, that move just loses the bishop on a2. So queen takes a4 is a mistake. Because, ooh, not knight h5. Ooh. No, rook a8 skewers the queen and bishop. So after rook a8, black's better. Now white's 4 pawns up. Yeah, g3's not good because it weakens the white king. Yeah, the d pawn's more important. White should have played queen d1. Now the game's unclear. Yeah, now the engine says it's equal. So white forgot that the rook is defending the queen, so we can just take the rook. So rook e1 just blunders a rook. I wouldn't expect a move like that unless white was rated like 2100. No, you take the rook. No. Annotations by Kurt Russell. No. Okay, we're going to stop here for a second so I can point out. I got to point it out. Black won this game. White's 980 and black's 1017. I don't know, chess is in my veins. We're going to find out together. Well, that just hangs the F pawn with check. What? Not a good start for white. Bam. The engine says this is just a draw. It doesn't even think black's better. Yeah, it says all zeros. Wait, but black won this position? After rook d8? Wow. Black won this position. God damn. Black won this position. How would I lose with white? Okay, it would have to be like rook g5, we trade rooks, the king walks up here and zugzwangs. I'm trying to figure out how you could win. The ending position is just two kings and white resigns. No! Rook g4. I've made this joke before about 2100s. Maybe he meant to play rook f4 and it was a mouse slip. Yeah, it could have been time trouble. Rook g4, one of the three moves that loses. Rook h5 and rook h6 also lose. And that's it. And black's technique was good enough. And white resigned. That was the game of the week. That was Bonarici's favorite game if he's still awake. Oh, it is. Bonarici already said something. And this happened like a minute after the guy chatted that 1200s are really good at chess now. Much better than before. Then we see a 1000 hang his rook next to it. Game of the week. That's why you should never resign, never offer a draw. You can win any position, no matter how bad it is or how equal it is. You need to subscribe. You need to submit the game before the stream, etc. You need to connect Twitch to Discord. It's impossible. Type !analysis to figure out how to do it. It's Tortellino. This is the last game. Hi, Ben. My friend drove me all the way to Timbuktu only to find out we would be paired against each other. This was the game 60 minute plus 10 seconds. Both players, it says, are 1600. Yeah, but I think it wasn't in Africa. Okay, here's the game. Our hero's black, Tortellino. So far, everybody's playing perfectly. The engine wants black to take on e5, and it says black is slightly better. After c5, it says that white's slightly better. It wants white to take on d7, not double the pawns on e5. But black wasn't interested. It really hates f4. It says after knight f6, black is much better. Now it says black slightly better. Knight b1? I guess white has dreams of putting the knight on f3. Engine says black is slightly better. White doesn't seem to have any prospects. Black can advance on the queen side. Rook g4 is a strange move. Engine says black is slightly better. I mean, black could make a queen on the queen side. It could happen. Now black's clearly better because white's extra pawn on the king side's meaningless, and black has 3-2 on the queen side from the c file over and can make a passed pawn. So black is +1, it says. Yeah, this knight d2 to b1 is not very good. b1's not a good square for the knight. Now it says black's just winning. Black played very well this game. Now it says white resigns. White didn't resign, but the engine says white can resign now because the bishop stops all the rook defensive moves to the e3 pawn. Yeah, the engine says black just wins by taking on c3 and then playing rook here, and taking. Well, it really hates knight b5. It wants to play knight d1 because that protects the e pawn and the b pawn. Yeah, black has crashed through. Wow, the best move is to sack the exchange. Bishop takes c3, king takes, bishop takes b2, followed by queen. But this is also winning. And white resigned. Now, Tortolino played a good game. I wonder if the guy gave him a ride home. White played too passively that game. White traded all the pieces off, then played for a kingside attack, but there were no pieces. Then black advanced on the queen side, and white didn't stop him. So that was very instructive. In Columbus, Ohio, I could have told you good chess clubs in 1986. There was the Dark Horse Club and the YMCA Club. But that was 39 years ago, so probably my information's out of date. But if you go back in a time machine 39 years ago, the Dark Horse Club and the YMCA. If you're into drug use, the Dark Horse Club would be better. That's amazing. There's more drug use at the Dark Horse Chess Club than the YMCA. Who would have thunk it? Yeah, 87% is pretty good. And those were the games that were submitted. Now, normally I would raid Chess Sharks, but they dissed Morphe. No. Are you still at the GM level? No. I'm about FM level now. Truth hurts. Always sack the exchange. I assume Tortellino's asleep because he's in Europe. Yeah, I got to figure out who to raid. Oh, Chest Sharks. There we go. Okay, I'll see you guys Tuesday. Thanks for getting us to 500 subs, everybody. Thanks for all your support. Bye.